everyone, this is Katie Colleen here. Welcome back, Colleen Clan, or if you're new, then come join the family. This is my sewing desk, as you may recognize from my other videos, and it looks a little different. Generally, I would have my sewing machine here and my serger, and instead I have this. This is an old friend of mine and an old guest star on our channel. Ta-da! So this sewing machine is the sewing machine that I used before May 2019. So a lot of my older videos I use this machine. It is heavy. Oh, my finger! Here it is. So this actually has the original receipt in it. June 25th, 1971. This Viking machine was purchased for, it looks like $345. And here's the original manual that came with it. I wanted to make this video to show you guys that you don't need the fancy sewing machine, you don't need the serger. You can make a whole cosplay just on, you know, one of these older machines. On the sewing machine, I sewed my Supergirl bodysuit, I sewed my Supergirl cosplay, I probably sewed a few others. I'll put the pictures up. So I'm going to be making a full Supergirl cosplay. I'm doing a more casual version. I've been like recently re-obsessed with the Supergirl comics. I have fabric already. My mother-in-law sent a whole bunch of fabric scraps over, so I have all this new fabric to work with. Okay, let's give this a test run. Oh, that's pretty bad. Okay, I found our problem. So if you look in here, it looks like, I'm guessing this is thread from my Supergirl cosplay. And it looks like there's a bunch of thread caught in the bobbin casing. So I think that was my problem. Here I am using this machine to make another Supergirl cosplay, and the old cosplay is still with it. Okay, still not looking the best. It's like skipping a few stitches. So I'm gonna try putting in a stretch needle. Okay, that looked a lot better, but let's give it a little check anyways. Yep, we got some fuzzies. So it looks like there's some fuzzies in here from that. Let's clean those out. So this looks really good now. Everything's holding, it's not skipping any of the stitches in between. So just all our little troubleshooting done. And the first thing I'm going to do is the pants. The pants are gonna be pretty straightforward, I hope, so it should be a nice warm-up. I'll be using this leggings pattern, workout leggings pattern, and this stretch red that my mother-in-law sent over for me to use. It has a lot of stretch to it. So we got on the pants so far. They are a little sheer, so I'm wearing compression shorts under it, and with the shorts it doesn't look too bad. I don't think I have enough fabric to line these completely, otherwise I would do that. I'm just going to add, she has like these square black details on the side. So I just took masking tape and I put it on my compression shorts. And then this I can pull off of my compression shorts and stick onto a piece of paper. And then I can cut it out like this. And I'll have my side design applique. This machine does not do an applique stitch nearly as well. For all of my older projects that used applique stitches, so the applique for my Supergirl costume and the applique for my BB-8 costume, I did those on my grandma's sewing machine because the older machines aren't as good. Let me try just sewing down the designs, and then if I'm brave enough, I might try and do like a little applique over it, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I have the pants design done for one side of the pants. This is a lot harder on this machine. It's not as lovely as my applique stitches that I usually do. So it's a lot harder to get everything lined up and perfect when you have to do the forward and back stitch to start it and the forward and back stitch to stop it. And it's just not as smooth as the electronic machine. Oh, did I do this backwards? I think I might have done this backwards. Darn it. Cosplay is so hard! Pants are done. So next is the sweatshirt, and then I think we'll finish off with the boots. Okay, so next up is this crop top sleeveless sweatshirt. And I'm gonna be using this pattern, this sweatshirt pattern. I used this same pattern for the Pikachu sweatshirt tutorial, so that kind of goes over how to sew a sweatshirt. I'm using this fabric. It's kind of like this fuzzy fabric, like it's very sweatshirt-like to me. I've already cut out some of the pieces. I still need to cut out another hood. It looks like I will not have enough fabric left to make the shoes out of this fabric. So I have made actually a completely new Supergirl symbol pattern based off of my reference picture. I tried using one of my other Supergirl applique patterns and it just didn't quite match up to what's in the reference picture, so here's a brand new one. And I'm using leftover fabric from probably my Supergirl cape. I feel like this red is just a whole lot more durable than this stuff. So I'm gonna do the symbol in this nice ribbed thick stretch. And I'm gonna applique that on with the zigzag stitch onto the front of the sweatshirt, and then I can get into actually sewing it together. So this is just a zigzag stitch on the outer edge. I hold down the design with Scotch tape just because with stuff like this, pins won't do it. It's too small and flimsy. So I have Scotch tape holding this down, and that looks like it's going to work. So I'm gonna do the zigzag stitch on all of the inside of the design too, and sew all this down, and we'll see how it looks at the end. Ta-da! The applique is done. So this is all the stitching on the back. So it's a lot more minimal than my usual appliques I do. This is the applique I did for my 1970s Supergirl cosplay I'm working on. So it doesn't have these nice thick borders. So there you can see this like really tight stitching, and here we just have the zigzag. But it looks good. We did it. We did it. The symbol is here, and now sewing a sweatshirt should be pretty straightforward. It's pretty long, so I'll be cutting off a few inches from the bottom. It looks like I can probably take in an inch or two on the side. And then of course I need to still add the hood. But otherwise, this is looking pretty good. Okay, so I'm doing the bias around the armholes. I just really like the finished look. The bias is this little piece of fabric that you wrap around the edge of the armholes. So on both sides, it's finished. And this is also really nice if you don't have a serger to do this type of thing. So that one has the bias and this one does not. So on this you can see all the rough edges. So where I'm running into a problem is this takes fabric. You have to wrap fabric around the edges, okay? This is like the sum total of fabric I have left. These are the scraps that I took off the bottom of the sweatshirt. And I think I'll have just barely enough for the other armhole bias, but I'm cutting it close. So as I've mentioned before, I'm a bit spoiled with my current machine, with my electronic machine. My electronic machine will actually give me an alert when the bobbin is out of thread. These machines do not, and a lot of machines don't tell you when the bobbin is low. So when you run out of bobbin thread, see, it looks like I still had some bobbin thread right here, and here is where I ran out. And there's nothing to really tell you you ran out of bobbin thread, except that you just start sewing air. So none of this has actually been sewn, except these like 2 or 3 inches here. And sometimes I'm so out of it, I will like sew a seam without the bobbin thread. I've sewn nothing. And then I'll move on to another seam and sew that. Like, how many seams do I have to sew before I figure out I'm not sewing anything? So I now have the top and the pants done. I had thought that there was still some fabric I could use for the shoes. There isn't. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna order some fabric off of Joann's. They're only doing curbside and shipping, so I can't actually go into the store and like feel the fabric. But as long as I have something that's black and stretchy, I should be able to make it work for the boots. So I already have the base shoes. I bought these shoes back in like November or something for the purpose of making cosplay shoes out of them. They were supposed to be for my Miss Marvel cosplay, which I never actually finished. And I do not have any black fabric to make the boots with. So I will be back. Okay, got the goods. I got 2 yards of Yaya Han stretch pleather for the boots. So I'll be using this. And then I got the glue. I use this E6000 glue for all of my shoe covers. So let's get to patterning and making these boots then. Hello. This is my boot. Quick tutorial. I covered my entire leg in saran wrap. Then I covered it all in masking tape. And now I'm gonna draw the back seam as best as I can. So that's the back seam. So now is the fun part. Now I'm gonna take scissors, carefully cut myself out of this. Release me, let me be free. I feel like I am a mummy awakening from my death. Oh, it's so sweaty! So sweaty! Oh, what is holding you onto my foot? Why? Ugh. And just as easy as that, we have our pattern. You'll see that inside this pattern is a shoe. It is that simple. Pattern your own today. Okay, so I took both sides of my pattern. I sewed them together. This looks like it's gonna work. I have 2 yards of fabric, which it took like less than 1 to make this. So I think I'm gonna line this, mostly just because I think it will help this stay up if it's lined, because it'll have this like tougher texture on the inside. So let me make a few more shoe covers. So I sewed together the inside and the outside. So now it's the same leather fabric inside outside, and there's this top seam sewing the 2 sides together. So what I'm gonna do is a top stitch. Okay, look at that, that's what the top stitch. So it's the outside of the boot, that's the inside. Then you don't get any raw seams on the inside. See, that's the seam on the inside, that's the seam on the outside. So if you have enough fabric to line your projects, line them. Line everything, because you're not gonna see any of the raw edges. And if you do a craftsmanship competition, that is something they actually look for generally. A lot of the competitions I'm at, they generally flip over one of your seams and make sure that you have it somehow finished on the inside. So here are the boots. I haven't glued them yet, but you see that they should fit pretty snugly. And I have them fitted so that this turned over edge will be about the bottom of the shoe. So I can just glue it down and it'll still have that nice hem on the bottom. So I'm gonna go outside to glue these. You do need to be in a well-ventilated place to have these glued down. Then I'll leave them in the garage overnight, and tomorrow I can reveal the full costume. I think you could totally make something like this on whatever machine you find. You can find them at thrift stores and antique stores. As a YouTuber who makes cosplay tutorials, I definitely get a lot of people saying like, oh, it'd be so cool if I can sew, but I could never sew, or I don't, you know, have the resources to sew, so I just won't do it even though I want to. And I just was hoping this video would kind of show you, you do not need really expensive stuff to make really cool costumes. I only used a straight stitch and a zigzag stitch. So go forth and make cosplay. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.